Ever wondered what it's like to have a Labrador as your roommate? Well, buckle up, it's time to find out. We're going to explore the delightful and sometimes challenging aspects of sharing your life with this breed. From life expectancy to the subtle differences between males and females, to their unique dietary needs and the care and exercise they require. And yes, we'll even tackle the big question, apartment or mansion. So if you're ready to have your socks knocked off, or rather chewed on, let's dive into the life with a Labrador. First things first, how long is your new roommate going to stick around? Let's delve into the lifespan of our Labrador pals. On average, these energetic bundles of joy are with us for 10 to 12 years. However, don't let that number fool you. With proper care, the right diet, and plenty of exercise, these loyal companions can defy the odds and stick around even longer. Just like us, their health is a cocktail of genetics, lifestyle, and a dash of luck. So, while we can't predict exactly how long they'll be with us, we can certainly tip the scales in their favor. Regular vet checkups, a balanced diet, and a heap of love can go a long way in promoting their longevity. Remember, owning a Labrador isn't a short-term fling, it's a beautiful long-term commitment. So, if you're thinking about bringing a Labrador into your life, make sure you're ready for the marathon, not just a sprint. So, with a Labrador, you're in for a long-term commitment. They're not just your roommate for a year or two, they're your family. Now let's settle the age-old debate. Who makes a better roommate, a male or a female Labrador? You may have heard that male Labradors are more boisterous and love to be the center of attention. They're the life of the party, always ready to play fetch or chase their own tail. On the other hand, the ladies of the Labrador world are often seen as more reserved. They're the kind who'd rather snuggle up on the couch with a good book. Well, if they could read, of course. But here's the cheeky truth. Both boys and girls are equally likely to dig up your garden, slobber all over your guests, and look at you with those big, innocent eyes after they've just chewed up your favorite pair of slippers. It's a toss-up, really. The only guarantee is that no matter the gender, Labradors are full of energy, love, and an insatiable appetite for mischief. In the end, whether you get a boy or a girl, you're still going to end up with a furry bundle of joy that loves to chew on your shoes. When it comes to food, Labradors are like vacuum cleaners with fur. They'll eat anything and everything, so what should you really be feeding them? Well, it's all about balance. Labradors need a diet that's rich in proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Proteins from sources like chicken, beef, or fish help build strong muscles. Carbohydrates provide the energy they need to keep up with their boundless enthusiasm. And don't forget those healthy fats for a shiny coat and a healthy brain. Now, Labradors have a reputation for being the canine equivalent of a bottomless pit. They can, and often will, eat until they reach the size of a small sofa. That's where portion control comes in. A grown Labrador typically needs about 2 cups of high-quality dry dog food each day, split into 2 meals. And remember, treats are fine, but they should make up no more than 10% of your Labrador's daily caloric intake. Remember, a happy Labrador is a well-fed Labrador. Just make sure they're eating the right stuff and not your homework. Labradors are like Energizer bunnies. They just keep going and going. So how much exercise do they really need? Well, let's get into it. Labradors are brimming with energy. They're like a cup of coffee that never runs out, always ready to fetch, play, or run. It's not just about keeping them physically fit. Exercise helps to keep their minds sharp too. When we talk about exercise, we're not just talking about a leisurely stroll around the block. Nope, we're talking about a good hour or so of active engagement. Fetch, tug-of-war, swimming. Labradors love it all. And don't forget about mental stimulation. Training games, puzzle toys, and obedience drills are all fantastic ways to keep your Labrador's mind as fit as a fiddle. Bear in mind, a bored Labrador can become a destructive Labrador. So, if you've noticed your shoes are mysteriously disappearing, it might be time to up the exercise ante. So, if you're not a fan of the great outdoors, a Labrador might just change that, or at least give you a good workout. And lastly, how much space does a Labrador need? Can you keep one in an apartment, or do you need a mansion? Let's dive into the space saga of owning a Labrador. Labradors, with their boundless energy and zest for life, are indeed adaptable creatures. They can turn any space into their personal playground, be it a sprawling mansion or a cozy apartment. But here's the thing, while they might not need a palace, they do need their fair share of outdoor time. Imagine having a roommate who's always up for a game of fetch, or a morning run, or even a midnight stroll. That's a Labrador for you. These furry pals are not just content with being couch potatoes. They need their daily dose of exercise to keep them happy and healthy. So, if you're living in an apartment, it's not so much about the square footage of your living room, but rather how often you can take them out for a romp in the park. Remember, a tired Labrador is a happy Labrador. Now, if you have a backyard, that's great. But don't assume it's a substitute for walks and playtime. Labradors are social creatures. They love exploring new scents, meeting other dogs, and basically just living their best doggy lives. So yes, a Labrador can adapt to apartment living, but they still require plenty of exercise and outdoor time. Having a Labrador as a roommate might mean you'll need to sacrifice a bit of your personal space, but hey, who needs personal space when you've got a furry friend to cuddle with, right? So, after all we've discussed, do you think a Labrador is the right roommate for you? Well, let's recap, shall we? Labradors are like that charming guest who overstays their welcome by about 10 to 14 years. They're like that fitness-obsessed friend who insists on dragging you for a run every single day, rain or shine, and they eat like a teenager who's just discovered the joy of all-you-can-eat buffets. Are you a fan of neat and tidy spaces? Well, Labradors are artists, you see, but instead of paint, they use their fur. They'll leave their masterpieces all over your home, your clothes, and even in your morning coffee. And let's not forget, they need space, both physical and emotional. Sure, they can adapt to apartment living, but they'll need their daily dose of exercise and your undivided attention. Remember, a Labrador isn't just a pet. They're a roommate, a family member, and a shoe-chewing machine. But most importantly, they're a friend for life. For